My niggas be smoking on something loud. Head to the clouds, I ain't been stepping out. Tired of sticking out in the crowd. This world is changing right in front of me. Gray hairs, I'm aging quicker than I thought I'd be. Straight up, 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 straight up.
February 20th, 2025 was the last time we've heard a verse from DreamVille Founder amidst the horizon of another battle taking place. A risky yet bold move to exercise the lyrical prowess and recapture the magic, the hope, the inspiration behind his passion as a rapper. Though, this cost would far exceed the amount of credit that others and even his core fanbase were willing to give. There would have been a time last year that this would work wonders for his image and his ability to stand proud among his peers. But the rap landscape that came along with the influence of the K-pop nation and the collapse of the OV regime with its allies, the industry of rap and culture had begun to shift. And unfortunately, they want the quote real story, the full indictment, the real J.Cole to confess how much of a pathetic 304 he is, then spend some time next year or so doing some of that restorative justice in hip-hop. But you know what? The problem with holding onto this whole Saint Germain to Snake narrative is the restorative justice level of accountability. Oh yes, I'm talking to every streamer, podcaster, reactor, and content creator who's been farming off of this since the apology last spring. To me, it's hilarious how many hit pieces double down in response to not just emulate, but help fuel the next conspiracy on why ABC rapper was never or has always been this performer. When you look into their channel history or their posts, you can almost guarantee that they can't engage in good faith or show a consistently valid argument that challenges their favorite rationale. You may call it groupthink or an echo chamber, but nah, I don't even believe that to be an excuse, because they constantly play the same cards when they say it's Cole's character we don't like, or he never holds other people accountable. 1. Never say never. Secondly, realize that while satire, whether you like to be Josh Johnson, Bill Burr, or Aaron Spears, or feel like you're the next Cat Williams, tells a version of the truth that's only as valid as the audience that authenticates it. And so I'll tell you that what a hell of a year for fact checking, cause the exposure feeds not just your ego, but the little villagers you call fans too. Let's not forget though, this was supposed to be part of the grand old cultural reckoning that required Aubrey to go to court over. Just like the whole plan was for Cole to coach Aubrey into a battle with Kendrick and push out a fake apology. Just like all the other times when Cole took shots at other rappers and artists who were lyrically weaker, less famous, or at the most vulnerable.
You decide what pocket you want to be in. Shout out to Roma Streets. You could count in what you want to come in on the first beat, the second beat, the third beat, the fourth beat. You got to decide all of that. Write the bars. Go to the studio. Lay the vocal, right? You got your lead vocal. I don't know what J.Cole does a lot of times. Sometimes he don't do doubles too crazy. But you got your ad-libs. Or maybe you got a really super dope engineer, so you do the doubles and he sync your vocals up to make it sound like you can't even hear the doubles.
Crisp.
Then you throw you do the ad-libs. You throw the effect on it. For people who don't know.
Think you got through it in one take?
Maybe. Who knows?
Because if he didn't.
The way he rapped it, I'll say no.
Multiple takes.
Right? Multiple takes. You know what I mean? Come out the booth. Yo, let me hear that back. I might want to rap it again. If there's a hook, now I gotta rap the hook separately from the verses. Do the doubles on that. Do the ad-libs on that. Go through that whole process. Again, I'm breaking this whole shit down to y'all.
Cool.
After the song is fully recorded, if you have an engineer who's nice, a lot of engineers are mixing your vocals while you're recording the song. They're mixing it, then you come out, then you're listening back to the vocals to see if you as the artist like the mix.
Yeah.
So you heard it, basically before the public hears the song, there's a real probability that you yourself as an artist might have heard that song and them bars 100+ times before it gets out to the public. Y'all get on us about talking about Cole, but y'all never think about the other side of it. The process of it all. You recorded it, you listened back to it, over and over and over and over again. So again, for the people who have a heart, and I love y'all, and they hear, oh, what, my heart wasn't in it. It wasn't in the right place. Y'all think I'm being an asshole when I ask, at what point did you deduce that your heart wasn't in it? Was it when you were writing the bars? Was it when you were recording the bars? Was it the 97th time you heard the song? Or was it the 150th time you heard the song? Was it when your man adjusted himself in the chair uncomfortably because it didn't sound good to him? At what point did you deduce that your heart wasn't in it?
I really want to ask specifically for those who thought Cole had been with every so-called battle or response he's done in his career. How much did it help or hurt their career realistically? Real nasty work considering that the fact that people gave him hell for being too modest. He's also been the one to be transparent about his understanding, whether it counted for or against them. But why would this matter? He was supposed to be this very overrated and mediocre rapper who can't consistently make great music or do great things for the culture. He wasn't even supposed to be a threat, much less of a problem for any purebred, hard-working rapper who battled their way from the streets to success. But the math ain't mathing outright when he realized Cole's introspection had always been self-reflective of his position in the environment around him. Most of these supposed battles, these conflicts, were both conversations and a means to create some dialogue. Yes, I'm talking about Everybody Dies, False Prophets, 1985, Snow on a Bluff, and Let Go of My Hand, just like I've been said. The internet wants to capitalize on why he ain't apologized for just being a rapper or choosing those people to rap about. That's head ass. Or why he ain't checked his boy Aubrey all these years instead of being complicit in his action. Super head ass. Or how about why he didn't try to aspire or do anything greater than what the Big Green entailed. Mega head ass.
If you gonna say I'm hating on J. Cole, I'ma really make it be known that this nigga don't got it. The music that sticks with you and don't just fall off. I have to really reiterate that point then. If I'm gonna be called a hater regardless, let me make sure that I stand on how I feel about bro's music and say that it's nothing gravitational about this music. Nothing is pulling me in. It's cool, he got skill, that's it. Nothing more, that's it. That's all I see about dude. And the attitude that he's displayed across the beef and the fans have allowed him to get away with, putting his toe in the rap beef and then taking his toe out and then acting like he's above the beef as if he never got peer pressure and as that never contributed to why people are talking about him in the way that they're talking about him now. I'm off that. That gaslighting shit is corny. The whole, oh yeah, I was always on my own peaceful shit. That shit's weak as fuck. That's lame. You put out a song, nigga said you reek, you deleted it. Now you acting like it didn't happen, and your fans are gaslighting anybody who dare bring it up again, even though it didn't even happen more than a year ago. Stop. Stop it. It's weird. Don't act like you're above the whole concept of what makes some rappers great in the first place, which is going against people in competition. Say whatever you want to say about Drake. He participated. Nah, never mind. I'm not even about to do that. Nah, not even about to do that. Because he's the first rapper to actually file a lawsuit over the diss record. Nah, I'm not even about to do that. I don't faulty, but I agree with his stance.
Then he dropped a song basically apologizing to Drake and saying how he was gonna lose regardless. It's actually so weird when you think about it.
No, J. Cole's timeline is actually something that needs to be acknowledged more and not just so glossed over as, oh, bro did the right thing. That is really weird how people are overlooking the events to just so casually get back into J. Cole mode, where he says a whole bunch of shit that most people already agree with, nothing provocative, people acknowledge his skill and they move on, they keep doing it, and then be mad at niggas like me when they don't see the hype. Holy shit. At the end of the day, I respect maybe some of Drake fans because they got something to latch on to. Drake is provocative from time to time. He's controversial from time to time. He's worth having, divisive opinions about. Kendrick too, of course. But J. Cole? I'm not doing that, bro.
If your issue with Control wasn't an actual issue, how can you fault Cole pulling out for that reason? Besides that, I agree.
Because he put his foot in it. His stance was, I see the error in why this is a problem. I would never want to do something like this. I already know where this is going to take me. And he's rapped about that before he even got peer pressured. But the fact that he participated, bowed out, deleted it, apologized, and then acted like he was above it and that this is some shit that, yeah, y'all shouldn't even be entertaining this. That's what's weird. I have no problem with him having that stance, but you got to be consistent. And God forbid, like I said, anybody that's not your biggest fan say something about it a few months later and your fans try to make it seem like, oh yeah, nah, we can't bring that up. You have to bring that up. Especially when you keep saying, I kill rappers on tracks. I turn people into martyrs. And then I got to watch your fans talk about J. Cole was killing artists. What artists of lyrical substance did J. Cole kill?
2024, where the extremely polarizing Porter Antonio dropped. The campaign against him has been manufactured into this great colonizer agenda attached to his case. The moment keywords like Drake, Dot, Blood, Deadly, or any semblance of friendship came up, the whole world of hip-hop raced to record their best takes. Yet looking back on that, most people were largely upset about Cole's saving face with Drake than they were with the reason behind his apology. But what every individual person must understand, whether a fan, indifferent, a hater, or casual, the discourse around Cole is based on a broader spectrum that goes beyond Kendrick, Drake, or just rapping and hip-hop. I'll put it beyond the alleged parameter of blackness the culture wants him to live unapologetically true, because he look no better than some of you clowns right now. Because it's also apparent that he will always be the man not. A man enslaved to the white supremacist, cis-heteronormative, capitalist patriarchy, just like those he grew up admiring. Will he live knowing he sacrificed the most important moments in his career over engaging pre- and post-battle? Yes. Is he responsible for the current state of releases from DreamVille not getting any notoriety? Yes. Does he owe a responsibility for the art that produced the reality of those who invested in him? Yes. So what's a rapper to do at this point? Let's start with him being able to reciprocate his passion through the entire discourse surrounding his name since then. Like, that's a great advantage and a privilege a rapper from his status can use to let his pen be his therapy. I mean, Kendrick did it, didn't he? But there's a side that is unique to Cole that Kendrick can't claim or resonate, something he can't express through who he is. Another key factor in this is to re-establish his boundaries with the business relationships he holds currently. For all the legal acts pulled this year, this should be the top priority for a label like DreamVille to protect its artists and its collaborators from whatever Cam pulled in the first place. Plus, I'm sure Eve and the rest of management will greatly appreciate that their artists or partners are mishandling information that would damage the brand further. A highly recommended suggestion for Cole specifically is to rediscover his agency in the roots of the community he raps about. I'm being serious. To be able to engage critically through the marginalized communities of the people of many generations that can navigate through the perspective he needs in order to develop a genuine connection to today's culture. Like, hello, Dream Foundation is still a thing. The option of having a functional practice in community works wonders against those fake woke claims. The truth is though, it won't stop the anti-intellectual spaces or platforms and the new blacks with their content creator rappers from disparaging his name. Because in their eyes, he is still the liability, the Judah, the double agent, who gave Aubrey access to the cultural cachet. This is undeniable proof, based on the calamity behind Drake's career and the 99 problems that came when Cole worked with him. But one has to ask why Cole will never be able to return to the same person. I mean, other than being cursed by both Aubrey and Kendrick. Ironically, the solution requires that he distances himself from any affiliations with TDE, OVO, and UMG to a degree. It's about time Cole stops apologizing and expecting forgiveness from either of them. The catalyst behind a proper J. Cole rebrand or revival is to creatively challenge how he, throughout his history of his career, defines his full intentions going forward in hip-hop now. Regardless of how many people he will piss off in the process, no longer matters because he no longer can go by his old standards. By him acknowledging his mistakes, and yes, we're not going to pretend otherwise, K-Bots and Novi hoes, J. Cole may have the comeback of the decade. Though, what would this mean for everybody else who's not in proximity or in association with J. Cole, such as his critics, or arguably those rappers who benefit from playing with his name? Especially if Cole's boundaries become tighter, his circle smaller, his social actions selective, and those affirmations to stand behind every damn word. This would make somebody like Oludowale Akitemehin, aka Wale, look more bitter and foolish for not appreciating the success he has outside of his peers. Matter of fact, let's talk about what the real issue may be between Cole and Wale. J. Cole was the first official signee compared to Wale, who had a pre-existing label contract with Interscope, though Wale had both a full studio album and several mixtapes, making him hold seniority over Jermaine. But let's put aside Roc Nation's financial treachery and Wale's interesting history with media literacy in general. This seems to reflect some issues with self-confidence and a lack of notoriety he believes he's entitled to. And more than anything, this seems to be tied to J. Cole's success, whether Wale behaves passive-aggressively in interviews or constantly blames people for not recognizing his talent. But let's go a little further than that. Cole was saying this exact thing on False Prophets, and yet on Groundhog Day, Mr. Fallard, you acknowledged this and was transparent about it. I got serious questions. Like, are you aware that Jermaine's accomplishments are no longer something you're responsible for claiming, right? Next question. What is your market strategy for how you go about promoting and branding your work outside of what's comfortable? What's safe for you to do now? Everything is a lot, at least in my eyes, seems to be pretty successful. Yet part of me feels like you're insulting the people that liked it. If anything, I would believe there's very few that could occupy that lane and meet the standard you set. But you know what? It just occurred to me, and I thank you, Wale. I'm starting to see where J. Cole got a lot of his people-pleasing tendencies and his approach to conflict management from. You, Wale, have influenced Cole the way Ari couldn't as a black Nigerian rapper, and thus the influence behind how he presents himself as a black man consciously. Let's keep it real though. I'll give Aubrey credit for being able to expose Cole to more markets and create some of his hits throughout his career. No way in hell y'all gonna get me to admit that J. Cole is this Americanized brand of Aubrey after this. Y'all better off tell me that Curtis Jackson and Kanye West are long lost brothers. Not gonna front and say I didn't laugh when y'all started to collaborate and do exactly what Matthew, yes that Matthew, did when he was coming with all these Reddit theories. But let's not forget, y'all just replaced him with another likable internet journalist that y'all can actually make better use of. For the record, I don't personally know him or care to engage with the content, so don't try me here. But now, when we see somebody like a Wale, who's given people classics, who possesses bangers and melodies like The Boy, who's actually made use of a talent that a top 5 rapper lacks, blame and complain over people not giving him enough credit? Hey yo man, you too old to be acting like a spoiled child. If we're being honest here, Cole or whatever XXL class shouldn't be the only ones you need to match in this era. I like to believe Wale has a full career that isn't built chasing shadows or to be recognized as the sorest loser, because Wale's virtues behind still making albums and rapping in hip hop is beyond him needing that validation. And since Wale is African American, had a decent rollout, doesn't feel obligated to go and start beefs, or has a career that won't affect an entire label, then isn't that a win? Does he feel at all that he could reach his ambition if certain people weren't in the industry at all? Would that make him recognize that his accomplishments are more than what he puts out? Sounds delusional in the sense that if there were no Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, Future, Mac Miller, Big Crit, Absol, Joey Badass, etc., you have a fair shot at being successful, and the industry will give you more respect. Time for a reality check, cause ain't no way any of the XXL freshmen from the class 2009 to the mid 2010s will let you have that. And just cause we're talking rappers that made covers, that doesn't include any signed label prodigies or any of the international artists. Wale for Lauren, sir, the industry doesn't work in the same way it did a decade ago, nor does every great artist operate in the same positions they had years prior. This isn't as much as a pack out as it is a pack in, like being able to ship your presents and provide blessings from what you can provide. And if anything, the fees for carrying baggage, old baggage, has increased, so pack your essentials and have a safe flight in hip hop. Don't think I forgot about Jermaine entirely here. All this considered, the truth is Cole carries the burden of knowing that poor Antonio was malicious, whether he intended things to be different or not. The power behind silence isn't just known to be compliance, but flip side is that compliance should have warranted for the guidance, and for more than a handful of reasons, he has broken that golden rule when it came post-battle. This wasn't that Twitter space with no name, the shelter with Little Pump, the safe space with Little Yachty, or like those conversations you had with Wale. This was a legitimate rap beef between two grown men he personally knew, and he could have just taken the L, no problem. But yeah, Kendrick called it out on Whacked Out Murals, and the narrative could have gotten uglier than just being mentioned in a defamation lawsuit. I want everyone, whether or not you call yourself a Cole fan, a critic, or just a person who loves hip-hop enough to consider a few things at this point. You cannot punish Cole for any and everything the OVOs and Aubrey does. They are responsible for how they feel, not Jermaine Cole. You also cannot extort Jermaine Cole to the point to where he sells his artist contracts and sends them elsewhere. You also cannot punish Jermaine Cole for the BS you want to believe he's doing or not doing, because he isn't on the internet like that. That being said, Jermaine Cole, if he feels that he has done all he could in hip-hop and cannot produce a snippet or produce anything for the fans, you're free, my guy. Retirement is typically the hardest part to deal with for successful rappers who do what they love, but you will be missed by those who care. Another option is not podcasting, perhaps going into the film production or going to business management. I'd even recommend the Andre 3K route because he does know how to play instruments, but the options are definitely there if a career in hip-hop is no longer something you can do. Just know, if you continue down this path of being a rapper, you have to be strong enough to carry the burden that you owe to your fans, your artists, your haters, and yourself. This is where it's time to stop hesitating and make your stand, sir. Whatever that may be, just realize this year ain't about what happened in the past or what people want to expect from J.Cole. The fact remains that in this era of great projects and stronger competition across generations, is Cole prepared to make the comeback, or does he have to choose to let his legacy end the way it is? For now, I'll walk with y'all later and sign off till next time. Peace.